A&H Phillips, 308 27th Street. I have two problems with the dune maintenance ordinance. Number one, the fact that it exists, which it should not. The granting of the physical alteration of dunes, which are public property, contiguous to private land by private property owners for the convenience and wish of those private owners, irrespective of any public interest or purpose, or a consistent public program of dune maintenance and protection, should not be taking place. Problem number two. The original ordinance places responsibility and accountability for such private interest alterations on individual council members. If a private property owner is given an advantage over someone else's private property by changes in the public property, for instance, by increasing the ocean view, the public has a right to know who voted for it. It's called transparency. Transferring accountability to the municipal engineer or his or her designee is very convenient for a council member, and how suspicious it looks. Each council member should be checking on alterations to public property before voting. That is certainly your duty. Removing that duty is a good example of buck passing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
This may surprise you. This ordinance is idiotic to begin with, but the one saving grace that we had in the way we have structured this was that, at a minimum, each application would have to come before us for consideration. Hasn't been time-consuming, hasn't been onerous, hasn't been a problem, but I guess it makes some people feel uncomfortable to have discussion, and maybe it's only Ann Phillips and myself that have this discussion, but the questions that I raise each time, and the questions that she has raised, are valid questions. They've never been answered. They're valid concerns. So I just want to tell the public that this is the next to last time you'll have an opportunity. Last time will be on the adoption of this ordinance, probably at our next meeting, to hear again from me about why this is a pointless ordinance at best, but an opportunity for others on council to finally maybe express what it is that benefits the public from this. What I would encourage people to do, once these no longer are coming before council, so there will be no formal discussion and no formal advice to people that applications have been made and where they've been made. The application packages are public documents. They can and should be reviewed by anyone who is interested in protecting our dunes. And the sites are obviously public sites and can be viewed in almost every case without trespassing on anyone's private property, either from the beach access paths or from the streets. And I encourage people to get down and look at these locations where the quote-unquote maintenance has taken place, and tell me how the environment has benefited from this in any way, shape, or form. Tell me how an ecosystem where you have whatever type of trees or bayberry or other bushes that have branches and in season have leaves or needles and can be home to nesting birds or a resting place for birds, or can provide shelter or other protection or sustenance for other animals in our dune ecosystem. Tell me how that is improved when we lop off the top of these bushes or trees and have just a flat stump standing up. The answer is, obviously, it doesn't benefit. There's no public benefit, never will be a public benefit. There is a private benefit, and we, in creating this system, have exalted that private benefit not only above the public benefit, but have completely supplanted the public interest in the public benefit. So, next to last time, but once they stop coming before council, feel free to make Open Public Records Act requests, come down and view the files, go down and look at the sites and judge for yourself how wise this program is.
One question I would ask our fire chief over there, since we just had that disaster out in there in California with the fires out there with the underbrush catching on fire. I know right now we're kind of wet outside and everything, but you've lived on the island all your life and everything. You see how dry we can get. Taking out the underbrush and the dead branches and stuff like that. Will that help from a fire end of it?
Well, obviously, if you remove some of the fuel load that's down there, then yes, that would help reduce the risk. You know, if there is a fire at the start, the higher the trees are and the more brush that's there, obviously the fire would be larger, yes.
Right.
There's
And-
potential for that.
And in this program that we put in place that we have, you're not allowed to cut down a bayberry under 8 foot tall. That's a pretty big bayberry.
It is. And there is a, you know, most of you know, obviously, my second life in the Air Force Reserve. I fly over here all the time, shooting into Atlantic City, and I've looked out the window of the plane, and there's a lot of bayberries and a lot of brush down there. So it's a huge fire risk down there. And we've talked with the New Jersey Fire Service before. If we ever got something down there and it took off, we just would try to protect the homes, and we would call the New Jersey Forest Fire Service in to assist us with that, because we wouldn't be able to handle something that big down there.
So cleaning out that underbrush and everything, and it's a good, public good.
From a fire standpoint, yes, it's beneficial.
Okay. Thanks, Chief. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, can I have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
Lettieri,
Yes.
Haney,
I reside in this contiguous area that this permitting process pertains to, so at some point in the future, I might be involved in that permitting process for those reasons I have seen.
DeLucre,
No.
Reardon,
With the advice of Dr. Stuart Farrell, the founder and director of the Coastal Research Center of Stockton College, and what Vince was talking about, DEP, and the fact, I don't understand why Mrs. Phillips and Rick, you're on council for 10 years, and now you're bringing it up now. You could have brought it up 10 years ago. It was such a problem back then. But all that being said, I vote yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Mayor Simpson,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.